am Pia, and I'm an astrologer and manifestation coach. And today I want to talk more about the full moon in Gemini. We have the full moon happening on 23 degrees of Gemini on the 15th of December. And first of all, when we have a full moon, what's happening is that the sun is in the opposite sign of the moon. Like full moon means that the sun and the moon, they are in opposite of each other. So what we have when we have a full moon in Gemini, the moon is in Gemini, but the sun is in Sagittarius. And we are very much invited to balance those two energies and to kind of release old patterns that are not serving us anymore. Saying all of that, I want to begin with describing what Gemini is all about. So when we have an air sign like Gemini, we are very much focused on the mind. So there might be a lot of you might feel a little bit overwhelmed, and you might feel like there's a lot of mind stuff going on. Maybe you feel very much in your head at the moment. You feel there is a lot of mental energy, and it's probably a little bit harder to connect with your body, because Gemini is so much about the intellect. It's so much about the mind. With this full moon, I actually want to start with the new moon. So we have a new moon in Gemini once a year, and then we have the full moon. We are now at the full moon in Gemini. But what you have to know is that with the new moon in Gemini, we planted new seeds around our mind. We planted new kind of ways we want to express ourselves. We got a lot of ideas, we got a lot of insights on what's next on the journey, what we can, like a lot of creative ideas that help us to move towards a future that is more aligned with ourselves. So when we have a new moon in Gemini, which was in June this year, beginning of June, it's always a time where our mind is very much expanded, and we can, see maybe opportunities, or we have ideas that are very new to us. We get insights on what we could actually move towards. It's a very inspirational time, but there's a lot of new energy. And usually what happens is that with the new moon, we see a lot of options. We see a lot of opportunities. We see a lot of like new ways of expressing ourselves. And we then have to kind of decide a little bit what to focus on, where to put our energy in the months after the new moon. What we have with a full moon is we get to that point where we might have already tried some of those ideas. We might have already, gotten further in the journey, or we might have played around with certain ideas or opportunities. And when the full moon is happening, we are actually on that point where we are getting to see, okay, so I planted those seeds in my garden. Like, let's say the new moon was the gardening phase, where you planted your seeds, where you watered them, where you kind of like, gave them the right soil to grow. And now you are re-entering that garden, that mind garden, and you're kind of like seeing, okay, where am I with my garden? Are there maybe plants I need to water more or less? Is there something that I want to replant? Is there something that I actually want to let go of that doesn't really serve my path? And maybe you're also harvesting some plants because they really grow big, and maybe they became trees, and now you can like harvest the fruits of them. So there's a lot of like understanding of which path was actually the path that got you to a point where you could harvest some fruits. Or maybe you can see the path and the opportunities that you didn't really take action on, but actually still want to take action on. Or you see opportunities and paths that you did take action on, but they didn't really lead to where you wanted to go. So you are ready to let them go. So that's basically what we have with this full moon in Gemini. It's like taking inventory of these like paths that we got to see and we put our energy towards. And we kind of like are in this like, we are coming back to our garden, and we are like evaluating, okay, what should come with us, what are we ready to let go of. And it's a very beautiful time. What I want to let you know is that you might see some things in your garden, and with your garden I mean, yeah, like your current reality, your current circumstances. Maybe you feel like triggered by certain things. Maybe there are certain things in your life, certain circumstances in your life that don't really make you feel like good about yourself. Or maybe there's something that just bothers you. It's maybe a challenge or a problem. And what we have been used to do, or how we have been trained and raised to react to those problems, is with a negative mindset, with a mindset of, oh my God, there's lack. This is not perfect the way I want it to be. This doesn't really fit to my expectations. So this means I have done something wrong, or things are not working out for me. And we are on this point with the sun in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the sign which rules our bigger vision. Gemini and Sagittarius, when we look at Gemini, we have the little streets that are, going towards a goal, something that you want to go towards, while the goal is Sagittarius. So the vision, the bigger vision, is Sagittarius. And Gemini is all the roads that lead you to Sagittarius, to your bigger visions. But it's like in the details. It's the little streets, and some of the streets are not actually going to lead to your goal, and some of the streets are. And now, when I was talking about the maybe difficult life situation that you are currently facing, or maybe there's just like some little triggers in your life, or some little things that don't match your higher vision, that don't match your expectations, what we are usually, and I say we, but I think what we are coming from as humanity, as a society, is we are very much coming from this mindset of looking at those things and focusing very much on the lack of them, and not seeing the beauty that is already in our life, not seeing the good stuff. And we are very much on this point right now with all the other constellations with this full moon, that I can see that we are shifting out of that. Yes, there are circumstances in our 3D reality that don't really match where we want to be. And at the same time, we are still positive. We are still staying in the trust. We are still connected with our higher vision, Sagittarius. We still can feel that we are moving towards something bigger, that we are on the right path. we are changing the way we are perceiving those circumstances in our outer reality, we get to look at them from a different perspective. And yes, maybe we sometimes fall back into that state of feeling like, oh my God, this is not working out, or oh my God, this is like not as I want it to be. And we fall back into this kind of mindset. But what I can see is that it's easier for us to move out of it again. It's much easier for us now to really connect with that inner trust and to see the vision and to not get so caught up in the circumstances. What we know from the law of assumption, for example, is that the way to achieving your goals and the way to move towards your goals is by you detaching from your current circumstances. It's looking at your 3D reality, meaning your life, and knowing that yes, these things are happening at the moment, but that doesn't mean that I'm not moving towards my goal. This doesn't mean that things are not working out for me. It's actually just a reflection of old habits, of old mindsets, of old beliefs and thoughts and limiting beliefs that is maybe, yes, still there, but we get to look at them from a more powerful, more positive mindset. I hope that makes sense. So this full moon is really teaching us and inviting us to move towards that positive way of looking at those little details and not making them mean so much about ourselves anymore, not letting them get in the way of us believing in ourselves, not letting them get in the way of us believing in that we are on a better, more aligned, more healthy way to embody our true essence. Because when we are talking about manifestation and also astrology, and what I am so passionate about is that we as humans, we are coming onto this earth and we are here to actually embody our true essence. And with and throughout our lives, we get to face all of these like barriers or limitations, or we get to face these like negative mindsets that we need to drop and we need to let go of in order to come back to our true essence, in order to see our true essence, in order to feel our true essence. And we are all different expressions of that true essence. The more we are aligning with our higher self, with the God consciousness within us, the more we are naturally embodying that essence, and things in the outside world, like our manifestations, are happening naturally to us. It's like when we are aligning with that true essence of ourselves, we don't have to effort ourselves into manifesting certain things anymore. We don't have to do so much anymore in order to get where we want to be. So it's very much about the inner work, and all of the teachings that I am passionate about, they are all talking about this inner path of remembering your own essence, remembering who you truly are, letting go of these blocks or letting go of these layers of illusion, basically, that keeps you stuck in consciousness that is of lack, that keeps you stuck in ideas and beliefs that are very destructive. So now, summarizing all of that, I believe this full moon in Gemini is here to remind you of your own power, and that all the little circumstances in your life are not defining you. They are just shadows of past versions of you. And you get to now choose which details or which circumstances you want to focus on. You get to choose what kind of meaning you want to give them. And Sagittarius is inviting us, the sun in Sagittarius is inviting us to look at those circumstances and trust in yourself, even if they don't match up yet exactly with where you want to be. It's a very beautiful full moon, and I really encourage you to just pause for this full moon and do maybe a meditation that helps you really focusing on your heart, focusing on your essence, and remembering, getting into that state of remembering who you truly are, connecting with your essence. And I did a video on this process of remembering our essence, coming from that essence, and why it is so important for us to come back to that in order to make our lives more easy, in order to let go of the suffering, in order to let go of the pain, and really become our highest version of ourselves. So yeah, that's it for now. I hope that made sense. I wish you a beautiful new moon, and please let me know if this is resonating with you. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.